Fitting instructions for A80 and A100 bicycle engine kits. Please take the time to read these instructions before starting on your project. Some mechanical ability is very desirable to properly install your engine. Some buyers can complete the job in 2 hours, whilst others may take 2 days. It is not important how long it takes. You will gain great pleasure and satisfaction from doing the job right. Have fun. The easiest installation is performed on the standard V-frame 26 bike with 25 millimeter round tube frame. It can be mounted to some other bikes, but it's best to stick with the standard bike. Some motors come with a frame adapter plate for fitting to non-standard oval or larger tube configurations. If time and care is taken with the initial installation and ongoing maintenance, you should have many thousands on kilometers of trouble-free operation. Page 2. Fitted engine. Installing rear sprocket. Step 1. There are 2 rear sprocket rubber packers. Cut one of them and only one. Cut only between the drilled holes. Step 2. Step 2. Place the cut one inside of the spokes. Step 3. Step 3. Place the other packer on the outside of the spokes. Page 3. Step 4. Thread the 9 bolts through the sprocket and use the half-moon backing plates on the inside. Tighten all 9 bolts, moving across in a star fashion and a little at a time to allow for an even pull down. Once the sprocket is tight, spin the wheel and check that the sprocket runs through. Deviation can be no more than 1.5 millimeters both ways. Any side-to-side excess deviation can be corrected by spinning the wheel and then tightening the sprocket where needed in order to get correct alignment. Make sure bolts are tight. Notice that concavity or indentation of teeth of the rear sprocket is inward towards spokes. This helps keep the chain closer to the inside of the wheel and spokes and allows for better clearance of the rear stays of the bicycle frame. Step 4. Step 4. Complete it. Here is how it looks when completed. Nice, tight, and true. Nice, tight, and true. Mounting engine to frame. Page 4. Page 4. Step 5. Step 5. Mount the engine into the frame. This is the front motor mount. Some bikes have a large diameter lower bar and some need clearance for the airbox intake, so you need to use the parts provided in the kit. Use spacer provided with the kit. In brackets, spacer bar is not included in the Skystar kit. This spacer normally would require the drilling of a hole in the frame to bolt the center of the spacer through, in brackets shown below. I prefer the method shown, which is to pull the studs and replace them with longer ones, in brackets threaded rod, that you can get at the local hardware store. Then you can use the steel motor mount clamp that came with the kit and not have to drill a hole in your frame. Then cut the excess off. My bike had an ovoid shaped lower bar, about 50 millimeter across. I used this method. Here is how the front motor mount looks if you have to use the 3-hole adapter. Yes, you drill, and as you can see, it works perfectly, and you may have to get a longer bolt and bend the exhaust pipe some too. To bend the pipe, simply get a vise and use some wood to block the pipe and then bend it. Step 5. Here is step 5 complete, with the studs nipped and looking good. Notice how well the intake inlets clear. Always mount air intake with the inlets down. Always, if you need to, you can put the ear box on a grinder. Page 5, and cut down on the inlet tubes a little to make sure they clear the frame. If you use the spacer on the front motor mount, usually this is enough to clear. Also, you may need to file down any water bottle screw mounts if they protrude and are in the way of a motor mount. Fitting controls. Step 6. Lightly grease right side handlebar end. Slide throttle on. Ail the way and then back it off a hair and then tighten it down evenly. Do not over torque the screws. If you get real ambitious, unload cable from carb slide and from throttle end, and clean up the fiber, plastic, and lube the cable sheath. And reassemble. Step 7. Mount the clutch lever. Step 7 complete. Page 6. Page 6. Here is what the clutch cable connection should look like at the motor. Step 8. Screw in the fuel valve filter. Combo into the tank and then mount the tank. Tip wrap top frame tube with bar wrap where tank clamps are. Also, if you have cable runs on the top bar that are open cables, you may need to run them through cable sheath the length of the tank in order for them to work once tank is clamped over them. Apply plumber's tape to thread if leaking. Step 9. Mount your coil tip. Mount your coil tip. Use 2 high quality cable zip ties. Go up and over and around the coil and zip tie it to the frame. Loop 1 zip tie up and over and also through the holes that would normally have the screws going through them. This is a better method than using the screws that come with the kit. You will have a more solid mount and not break the coil. It is not hard to break the coil years of using the screws. Wire connections, blue to blue and black to black. Also tie kill switch to the blue wire. Earth the white wire is generator and has a max output of 5A 7.5 volts V. 5 amperes 7.5 volts. Anything that draws more current connected to the white wire will kill the motor. Page 7. Testing resistance on magneto coil should read blue to black equal 323 ohms, black to white equal 2.3 ohms. Special note. Special note. Because of improved CDI, the crown part of a spark plug don't need be removed anymore. Just screw the spark plug into the improved CDI. It will work normally. Here is what the idler pulley looks like. Installed. Notice the wheel is at the most down position. So as the chain gets slack, you simply move the wheel up to take out the slack. Page 8. Step 10. Remove the 3 screws from counter shaft, side cover, and also remove spark plug. Remove clip from master link of chain and then thread chain up and over counter shaft sprocket by rotating the sprocket using tool. Having the spark plug removed allows engine to be turned easily to thread chain. Tip: since you have this cover off, hold the clutch arm and rotate cover and pull clutch arm out of cover and then grease it and rotate it back in. Step 11. Put some moly grease on the shaft and in the hole. Step 12. Cut chain to length and using master link put chain back together. Do not cut chain too short. Install idler, pulley. Make sure you grease the plastic wheel metal shaft. Do not over tighten chain. Install chain guard. Use some thin snips to cut cover at the rear if needed. Use a good zip tie at the rear and the extra long bolt for the counter shaft. Cover will hold the front. Page 9. Page 9. Step 13. Install exhaust pipe. If you need to bend the pipe some so it will not hit the frame or bolts, clamp the pipe into wood blocks and bend. Do not bend exhaust mounted to engine. If you do, you will not bend the exhaust. You will break the motor. Exhaust pipe is very strong, much stronger than the two mounting studs on the motor. Step 14. Mount the carburetor. Carburetor. Check the other screws, including the brass fuel inlet screw for tightness. Typically, they need some slight turning. Once the carb is on and tight, you are ready to connect the tank line to carb. Tip: get an incline fuel filter. Even though the fuel petcock has a screen filter, it is porous and allows sediment through. A high quality inline fuel filter with paper element is a super way to go and to keep fine particulate out of the carb and the engine running fantastic and like new. Well, install is done. Mix your oil with the petrol before adding to tank. Fuel up the bike. And go, baby, go. Enjoy. Do not get too excited. This is a new motor and you need to take it easy for the first 500 kilometers or so. Oh well, the price of owning a new engine, you have to run it in. But that is fun too. Enjoy. Page 10. Page 10. Note: during run-in, keep drive chain snug. During run-in, keep the mix ratio at 16:1 for 500 kilometers, and keep your speed down and do not run your motor for longer than 30-minute periods. After run-in, you can allow the chain a little slack. Also, keep mix ratio at 20:1 and use a high-quality synthetic motorbike. Lawnmower to stroke oil. Carburetor installation. Step 1. Remove carb cap and lay out all of the parts. Step 2. Place needle into center of carb slide and then put flat washer with a groove on top of needle, making sure you have the groove lined up with the groove in the carb slide. Page 11. Page 11. Step 3. Step 3. Install cable to plastic grip first. Then thread this end through the carb cap and through the spring. Step 4. Compress spring and load cable into the end of the slide. Once you have it started, put the entire length of the cable into the slide. Once you have done that, release the spring to the inside of the carb slide, allowing the spring to push onto the flat washer and thus holding the needle down. Page 12. Page 12. Page 13. Warning. Do not operate engine without kill switch installed. It could result in personal injury if an emergency stop is required. The only other way of stopping the engine is by releasing the clutch lever with bike brakes on and engine at slowest idle. This is not recommended. Maintenance routine. The first, clutch. A. Remove right side cover from engine. B. Place a small dab of grease at gear mesh area. C. Replace cover. The second, carburetor. Depending on dusty riding conditions, clean air filter every 5 to 20 hours of operation by removing the filter cover to access the screen and element. Wash element with degreasing agent. Be sure element is completely dry before reassembly. The third, spark plug. Remove spark plug and inspect for excess carbon build up. Clean, regap to 6 mm to 7 mm if necessary. Check plug after every 20 hours of operation. A suitable replacement plug is NGKBP 6L if you can find it. Otherwise, go for the NGKB6L. The NGKR7HS is also recommended for better performance and smoother idling. The fourth, exhaust system. After 20 hours of operation, check exhaust pipe for excessive oil and carbon build up. Be sure to use supplied support strap to secure exhaust muffler to a solid anchor point on bike frame or engine. A. Remove exhaust pipe cap by loosening the retaining screw. B. Pull cap and baffle out of pipe. C. Clean with degreaser, rinse and dry. Page 14. D. Reassemble. Note: excessive periods of low-speed operation, idling or leaving fuel petcock in the on position during shutdown periods may cause the pipe to become clogged with unburned fuel. The fifth, chain. Every time bike is ridden, check the tension of the drive chain by A. Rolling to bicycle forward to remove a slack from the bottom of the chain. B. Find the center and push downward on the top of a chain while measuring the deflection. C. Tighten chain if deflection is more than 15 millimeters. D. Low-speed chain rattle can be eliminated with the application of graffiti grease to chain. The sixth, head bolts. Tighten all fasteners after each 5 hours of operation. It's most important to check cylinder head bolts. Tighten in X pattern to 12 feet IB using a torque wrench. A 2-piece cylinder and head design engine requires head bolts be kept tight. Important: check head bolts before each and every ride. Vibration can cause them to loosen and blow a head gasket. Caution: do not over torque or head bolts may break off. The seventh, right side gears. Remove cover plate and keep small amount of heavy grease on gear train. Do not over grease, as leaks will occur and also may adversely affect clutch operation. Regular greasing, if required, will help reduce gear wear and keep gear train quiet. General information. Page 15. Obey all traffic regulations. Always wear an approved helmet whilst riding. Remember that you are riding a motorized bicycle and other traffic may not be able to see you. Never operate your motorized bicycle on a pedestrian, thoroughfare, or pathway whilst the engine is operating. Never operate your motorized bicycle in an unsafe manner. Check local and state laws before riding on streets. Warning: always wear a helmet whilst riding. Motorized bicycle starting and operating instructions. Important. Please read this. Petrol and oil mixture ratio. The engine is a two-stroke design. Therefore, a petrol-oil mixture is necessary. During the first 500 kilometers break-in period, the ratio for engine is 16 parts petrol to 1 part high-grade two-stroke motorcycle oil. In brackets, 65 miles Penrite two-stroke motor oil to 1 liter of 91 octane unleaded petrol. Octane unleaded petrol. After the break-in period, the ratio is increased to 20 parts petrol to 1 part oil. In brackets, 50 milliliters, 50 milliliters Pentrite two-stroke motor oil to 1 liter of 91 octane unleaded petrol. Be sure to mix fuel and oil before adding to tank. Don't add separately. Do not exceed 20 kilometers in hour during break-in period. Speed may be increased to 35 kilometers in hour after the first 500 kilometers. Use only high-grade two-stroke motorcycle oil to ensure proper engine lubrication. Warning: remember, safety first. Wipe up any spilled fuel. Never refuel a hot engine or smoke whilst refueling. This could result in fire and personal injury. Always move your motorized bike at least 3 meters from any refueling area before attempting to start it. Never leave the tank fuel cap off after refueling, as rainwater could contaminate the fuel and cause engine failure. The first, open the fuel valve. Small lever pointed down with the fuel line is in the open position. The second, depress the small round cap plunger in brackets tickle button to prime carburetor. 1 or 2 times is enough. The third, lift choke lever to the upward position. This is the small lever on the right side of the carburetor. All the way up the choke is on. All the way down the choke is off. Move progressively downward to off position during engine warm-up period. The fourth, pull the handlebar clutch lever inward to disengage the engine from the rear wheel. Page 16. The fifth, pedal in brackets downhill if possible for first start. The sixth, let out the clutch lever all the way out and continuing to pedal. The result is a direct engine hook up with the rear wheel via chain and sprocket, and the engine will now start spinning. Pedal unit motor starts. Accelerate slowly at first. The seventh, twist throttle to increase speed, reverse twist throttle to decrease speed. To stop, disengage clutch and apply brakes. To accelerate, pedal and release clutch whilst opening throttle. The eighth, adjust choke to the smoothest engine running position. The ninth, after warm up, push choke lever all the way down. If engine races too fast or too slow, pull clutch lever and lock in the notched catch, stop and adjust engine RPM. The 10th, if the RPM needs adjusting, turn the idle adjust screw in brackets top of carburetor in or out slowly to obtain the proper idle speed of about 1400 RPM plus minus 100 RPM. To correctly brake the engine in, do not exceed 25 kph. Or 30 minutes. Continual running for the first 80 kilometers during engine brake-in. Engine will develop more power after brake-in. The 11th, to stop the engine, push kill switch and turn off gas valve at tank. Turning off the gas will prevent fuel from being siphoned from tank. Warning: never leave the tank gas valve in open position when engine is not running or the bike is in storage. The 12th, after or before each ride check, all mounting fasteners, including head bolts, axle and brakes. The 13th, warning: engine lock up or position seizure due to improper petrol oil mixture will occur. These are the responsibility of the owner-operator to make sure the petrol and oil is mixed correctly. The engine can't be started. Engine stops after starting. Fuel symptom: sparking normal, carburetor abnormal. Possible cause: oil can't be supplied properly. Adjustment: check if a filter net of the carburetor and main jet are clogging. Make cleaning. Fuel symptom: carburetor normal, sparking abnormal. The electric wire can spark. the electric wire can't spark. Can spark or can't spark. Possible cause. Dirty in the spark plug. Trouble in the spark plug. Trouble in the spark plug cap. Large space between the poles. The CDI and the coil tie-in are installed inversely. The electric wire is broken or loose. Trouble in the CDI or the coil. Adjustment. Clean the spark plug and get rid of accumulated carbon. Replace. Adjust the space to 0.5 millimeters. Turn the tie-in round. Replace or tighten the wire. Replace. Abnormal. Fault symptom. Fault symptoms. Symptom. Abnormal engine performance. Fault symptom. Engine intermittent misfire. Sparking normal. Sparking abnormal. Possible cause. Water, oil or dirty in the carburetor. Oil improper supply. Oil improper supply. Too large space between poles of a plug or carbon deposit here. Tension wire broken or short circuit. Circuit in the appliance. Circuit in the appliance. Adjustment. Get rid of water, oil and dirty. Check the throttle switch if the filter net and oil case cover is clogging, and clean them. Clean the carburetor, get rid of the carbon deposit and adjust the space to 0.5 millimeters. Replace with a new tension wire or solve the problem of short circuit.